COVID-19 hivi sasa inakutana na Kemsa ili kuweza kupata ule ukweli uliopo kuhusu matumizi ya fedha kutoka kwa Kemsa ili kuweza kujua fedha hizo zilitumika vipi na vile vile kupata kujua vifaa vya kujikinga na corona viko namna gani. Ni baada ya sakata ya ufisadi kuripotiwa katika shirika hilo la Kemsa. Na sasa moja kwa moja tunavuka pale tuweze kusikiliza kikao hicho.
This morning when the meeting is supposed to be on already, then I feel there's something suspicious, and this is very common in Kenya of late. When senior people who have looted government for money for the public of Kenya, the people of Kenya decide to become sick when they are required in court or when they are required in police, cells or whatever. They become sick when they are supposed to be interrogated. I think this is a routine which should be stopped, and we have to get to the bottom of this issue. Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, ideally under normal circumstances, the office should be answerable, but this is not a normal circumstance. It is allegations of misappropriation and theft over which the said CEO presided. So I don't think we should continue until such time that this person is available here.
Mr. Chairman, just hold on 1 second. I've gotten a chance to look at this letter. Yes. And I want to read this letter because the CEO was summoned to appear before. And is a court order. You're supposed to appear here. And under Article 125, when this committee sits, it has the same powers as a high court. So this letter is written to whom it may concern. If indeed this letter was genuine, it would have been addressed to the clerk of the Senate, attention made to this committee in regards to the summons. So, Mr. Chairman, this here is what we call pussyfooting. We cannot allow this to proceed. We have to be clear on what we want to do, how we are going to proceed with this matter. And my view, Mr. Chairman, is that we've got to do two things. One, we have to be advised by legal under what circumstances then we can issue a warrant of arrest. We can cost because the law allows us to do that when the witness fails to appear. And in this case, this witness is not sick. There's no evidence to support the claim. The letter is written there generally. That's why even the doctor who wrote this letter was very careful not to incriminate himself, because he said to whom it may concern. It should have been addressed to the clerk of the Senate of the Republic of Kenya.
Noted. We've been joined by a colleague from Nyamira. Maybe he can introduce himself. Senior Counsel. And Dr. Langat also. Let's start with Senior Counsel.
Yeah, Chair.
Okay, Dr. Langat. Okay. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. For the visitors, I'm Dr. Langat, a member of the COVID committee. And my contribution is that we should take this one seriously. And members who fail to attend parliamentary summoned meetings, we don't want to entertain this because it will be a tradition, and soon we shall not be having any business to deal with. Thank you.
Thank you. Is Senator Omugeni there? Maybe it's not gender.
Chair, let me weigh in at this stage.
Yeah.
Just like Senator Olekina, I perused this letter. It's extremely ambiguous. I'm a professional. This is somebody who has come under summons to this committee. And therefore, if there was a genuine admission, we would have had a letter from the CEO, Kenyatta National Hospital, addressed the clerk of the assembly, saying that so-and-so is under summons to come before you tomorrow morning, because this was on Thursday. It doesn't even say what time it was admitted. And after that, that letter should have been delivered to the clerk and produced here as an evidence that somebody indeed is sick. Upon receipt of that letter, my position would have been, yes, you cannot prevent anybody from being sick, and therefore will admit that letter as evidence for him not to appear before this committee. In the absence of that letter, and in the absence of any reasonable excuse other than the one we've just had here today, I think apart from adjourning this meeting without any deliberations whatsoever, let's bear in mind that we're dealing with a situation which is current. We're dealing with a situation where huge sums of money have been involved. We are dealing with a situation where life of individuals and people is involved. And therefore, it's a very weighty matter, and therefore bears consequences which are defined in the law. And those consequences, apart from requiring that he must appear before us in person, and not through representation, unless he states otherwise, we will require that due process take place. And the due process, I think, will go back to the law and say, what happens when a witness who has been summoned fails to turn up without any reasonable excuse?
If it is okay, we could hear from the legal on the legal process.
Before you hear from the legal,
okay.
You've just heard the members have already spoken. Because the matter we are dealing here with is of the national importance. Today, even as we sit in this house, there are many Kenyans who are dying. As we sit here smiling, there are many Kenyans who do not have jobs because of this COVID-19. And yet, the taxpayers' money is what we are here for. So if the witnesses has failed not to come, this is something that we call impunity in the highest order. And it has been a routine in Kenya. When people have looted from the taxpayers, then they hire high-profile lawyers to come and represent them. This impunity also must stop. If this witness is not here today, Chairman, use your powers under the standing orders. What do we do when a witness fails to appear before the committee, especially when he wrote a fake letter from nowhere? And yet, today Kenyans are waiting to hear from us. Where are the PPEs in Kisumu counties? Where are the drugs? Why is it that today, all over the nation, the doctors are on strike, the nurses are on strike, and yet there are some good tidings to few rich Kenyans who are now billionaires? This is why we are here. And these witnesses must come, whether today or tomorrow. He must tell Kenyan how he had used the COVID money. And this is a serious matter. If you go to Kisumu today, we do not even have masks. And it's not only Kisumu. Most of our counties are suffering today. And yet the money was allocated. And yet few individuals are now rich. And now you come here and bring us the high-profile advocate to listen to you, to represent you, to protect you. There will be no way this time. So therefore, Chair, I propose that we should not proceed with this meeting until that witness who has the high impunity in Kenya not to appear before the committee is brought under our standing orders.
I second, Chair. Chair, sorry, let me just, because I'm just adding my voice to that. Chair, if indeed Kemsa would like to shed light on this issue, it should, Mr. Jonah should have been there. Mr. Chair, in an attempt to camouflage and throw us in the wrong direction, some of us who are asking questions have now been listed on social media as the COVID millionaires. But that is not going to divert our attention. We must be told where the billions have gone when our counties have been listed as having no PPEs, have been listed as having no beds, have been listed as struggling, and therefore now in our rural areas, Isiolo, for instance, you've seen the counties that are lagging behind, Lamu, Isiolo, and all these of them, which even as we speak, the revenue quagmire has affected, and then on top of that, the COVID millions.
Na bila shaka mpenzi mtazamaji, ni vikao vya seneti vinakujia moja kwa moja ambapo kamati